brothers, sisters, welcome to the port. I hope everyone's new year is going well. Today we're going to do our first talk from our four-part series on grace and the Songs of Solomon. The title of today's talk is The King's Relentless Pursuit. So we're going to take a look at Songs of Songs, chapter 1, verses 2 all the way through 6. Let's begin. Kiss me and kiss me again, for your love is sweeter than wine. How pleasing is your fragrance. Your name is like the spreading of fragrance of scented oil. No wonder all the young women love you. Take me with you. Come, let's run. The king has brought me into his bedroom. How happy we are for you, O king. We praise your love even more than wine. How right they are to adore you. I am dark, but beautiful, O woman of Jerusalem, dark as the tents of Kedar, dark as the curtains of Solomon's tents. Don't stare at me because I am dark. The sun has darkened my skin. My brothers were angry with me. They forced me to care for their vineyard, so I couldn't take care of myself, my own vineyard. Now let's read Song of Psalms chapter 2. We're going to read verses 1, 2, and 3. Verse 1, it is the woman speaking. I am the spring daisy blooming on the Sharon plains, the lily of the valley, now the king. Like a lily among thorns is my darling among young women, now the woman. Like the finest apple tree in the orchard is my lover among other men. I sit in his delightful shade and taste of his delicious fruit. When we read the Songs of Solomon, it sounds like an intense earthly romance. But for centuries, the church has always understood it as a picture of God's love for his people, which that picture reveals a deep truth of Christianity, and that is that we are loved by God. Now, in context, the Shulamite woman, the beloved, is chosen by King Solomon, the lover, which represents Christ. She is insecure and she sees her flaws, yet she is the recipient of this unbelievable attention. Now, in this talk, we're going to take a look at 3 points. Let's begin with the first one. The king initiates intimacy. Going back to the Songs of Songs, chapter 1, where she says, kiss me and kiss me again, for your love is sweeter than wine. This desire for the kiss is a desire for close intimacy. But what's really unique about it, that this is not a request, but it's her responding to him because she knows him and she knows his presence. She said that his love is better than wine, because it speaks that she speaks of the superior and satisfying joy she finds in having a relationship with the king. Now, I'm going to use this as a starting point to connect that the gospel is all about this thing we see here, about God making the first move. God always initiates. God doesn't, we don't chase him. He chases us. He draws us. Now, we can say that his initial kiss, his initial act of intimacy would be us receiving salvation, right? But I think there's his first act of intimacy begins even before we receive his salvation. I believe that the moment he makes his presence known to us in our circumstances is his act of intimacy, him showing his great love towards us. The moment he moves into our circumstances, shows us that he is the way out, and then offers salvation. That's intimacy all the way across the board. It's not just the initial act of salvation. It is the first initiating of his presence into our life. That's God saying how important you are to him, how he loves you. That's what I believe is being captured here. Then he invites you. Then you want to receive his gift of salvation. So with that first point, I would say, stop trying to earn something from the Lord. Stop trying to earn his love. Stop thinking that his love is flaky. It isn't. You have the King's love because he initiated it. He initiated it first. The second point is seeing ourselves and then how he sees us, his chosen. Going back to the Song of Songs, or the Songs of Solomon, back to chapter 1, where she says, I am dark but beautiful. O women of Jerusalem, dark as the tents of Kedar, dark as the curtains of Solomon's tents. Don't stare at me because I am dark. The sun has darkened my skin. Here is what I was talking about earlier about her insecurity. She is insecure. She feels dark, which this dark is speaking of weather worn because she's been working out in the field. And she feels because she's been working out in the field, she's being judged. Now, this is typical because I had to go understand this phrasing because women who were of wealthy class were fairer skinned, were lighter skinned. Women who were in the field working, they were warmed by the sun. So this is an indication of her status, you could say. So she felt shame because of that. Now, the beautiful grace connection here is how we feel when the Lord comes and draws us and calls us. We have we feel constantly judged. We feel like we see our failures. We know what we are. Like we could go, she was working in the vineyard. We see our failures. We see the kind of people we see how we are. We see how people judge us. We see how we act around people. I love when I talk to people who don't go to church. They say, well, if I go to church, a lightning bolt will come down and strike me, or the building will fall down. My response to that is, God isn't Zeus. God won't do that. He won't strike you down. Okay? Because the King's eyes are not fixed on her darkness. He's not fixed on our failures, but on the potential of which the king's eyes are not fixed on her failure, but on the potential of her being a bride. Grace doesn't ignore our flaws. It covers them with his perfection. Think about that. Grace doesn't ignore our flaws. It is covered by his perfection. So the application to that is stop looking at your unworthiness. Start seeing how the King sees you. Start seeing yourself how the King sees you. The third point, the King's vision of the bride. Going back to the Song of Songs, the Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, where it says, like the finest apple tree in the orchard is my beloved among the young men. Remember that he calls her a lily among thorns. Now, the King's response here is amazing. He doesn't rebuke her insecurity. He elevates her identity. He calls her the finest among women. The allegory here of the lily among thorns, it means that he sees the perfection he's placed on her. How he has set her apart from the hostile world. The grace connection here is that Christ does not see you by what your sin has defined you, but he sees you by how he's defined you. And that's what he declares when he sees you. He declares you righteous. He sees you holy. He sees you perfect. There's a passage in the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 14, where it says, by one sacrifice he has made perfect forever those who are being made holy. He has made you perfect forever. Think about that. Think about that. That's what I'm saying, like one of my videos. So an easy application is this: when you feel like you're a thorn, remember that the King sees you as a lily. So now in conclusion, to summarize this first talk, grace initiates, grace covers, and grace elevates. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and please leave a comment. We'd love to talk to you. God bless you guys.